Chapter 14.
Charlie always had a fondness for Marcus. They rarely engaged in conversation, but Charlie took pleasure in eavesdropping on Marcus and Harry as they schemed together. Their discussions were filled with concepts like energy, magic, and ley lines, subjects that escaped Charlie's understanding, much like how intersecting planes had baffled him in Mr. Varner's geometry lessons. Charlie grasped that some things were beyond his comprehension, and that was perfectly fine. What truly mattered to him was the way Harry's eyes sparkled with excitement. What held significance was those nights they spent sprawled on Volterra's tallest tower, stargazing, as Harry spoke passionately about constellations like Sirius, Andromeda, and Draco. In Marcus's presence, the conversation would drift towards Diadem. Scarlet marks marred the side of the tower, a somber reminder of the day she had set herself ablaze before her fatal plunge. Diadem had been the source of happiness for Marcus. At times, Charlie pondered if Harry was his source of joy. He loved Bella dearly, yet he couldn't shake the memory of his life before they answered the call to a barefoot child who roamed the woods caressing the trees. It's ironic considering they deemed Harry irrational. Observing Arrow, Caius, Marcus, and all the guards, Charlie often concluded that he and Harry retained the most sanity. The day Bella arrived in Volterra, eyes a striking crimson and an engagement ring on her finger, Charlie wasn't shocked. The Cullens had all gathered to toast their union, only to whisk them away to honeymoon on Esme's secluded island. Spending over 3 decades living among vampires, things like private islands no longer startled him. What did catch him off guard was when Harry appeared in their apartment with a resounding crack, causing the lights to momentarily short. "We've done it," Harry exclaimed, lifting Charlie in jubilance and spinning him in the dim living room. "We found it, Charlie." Charlie chuckled, pressing a kiss to Harry's cheek. Remember, no teleporting inside the house. At least their neighbors still had electricity as the glow of a street lamp seeped through the curtains. Harry whirled in his embrace, and suddenly, they stood on the opposite side of the city. Charlie inwardly wished he could retch, but his vampire physiology didn't allow that. Even in faint moonlight, he identified the tower by its decades-old lingering scent of scorched walls. "Recall how we agreed you'd never teleport me?" Charlie remarked. "Charlie, your gift is necessary," Marcus implored. "Kindly step within this circle." Charlie's sigh showed his resignation as he made his way inside the chalk-marked circle on the stone floor. He didn't need to grasp their plans. He knew explaining it wouldn't make it any clearer. With a deep breath, he relinquished control of his ability. "Excellent," Marcus reassured as the chalk outlines began glowing, reminiscent of St. Marcus Day decorations. Gradually, the king levitated. "Is that intentional?" Charlie queried, uneasy at the thought of Marcus soaring away into the night and knowing Arrow would not be pleased. Oddly enough, Charlie was often pegged as the responsible one. Then a cacophonous crackle pierced the air, so intense it left Charlie's ears ringing. He struggled against the afterimage, but felt as if he were blind. The air carried the sharpness of ozone, akin to a sudden summer lightning strike. He heard Harry murmur, "HNN." "I can't hear you," Charlie replied, still gripping Harry's hand as they waited. Soon his vision adjusted. To his astonishment, Marcus was completely unclothed, hair standing on end as if electrified. Even in the sparse light, Charlie noticed Marcus's eyes had turned brown. In awe, Marcus tapped his own skin. "I'm hungry," he uttered. "It's Sunday," Harry chimed in, urging Charlie along to aid Marcus in standing. "Sundays mean pancakes. Jacob sent me a recipe that's gluten-free." Arrow and Caius seethed with anger, yet never had Charlie witnessed Marcus appear so tranquil. It nudged Charlie down memory lane, back to when it was just he and Harry at home, a cheerful kitchen painted blue, and the sturdy oak out back from which Bella's swing hung. He reminisced about the chap who couldn't quite manage his shoelaces, would occasionally forget his own name, yet religiously brewed coffee each morning like a ritual. Charlie realized how far they'd come, and his love for Harry remained steadfast, thriving in Harry's newfound confidence and power, eyes aglow like nuclear energy. Marcus moved into a personal abode, eventually falling for the Volturi's human secretary. In a blink, a year had slipped by. Marcus then proudly showed off his newborn son, the same awe reflected in his eyes, just as Charlie had with Bella. Marcellus Volturi was aware of his father's former life as a vampire, which explained why all his uncles still bore fangs. His mother once aspired to be among them too, but upon meeting his father, she realized they actually valued humanity. Though Marcellus loved humanity, he didn't truly fit in with them. Everyone he held dear thrived without rest or sleep. Vampires remained unchanging. Once they loved, their affection endured perpetually. When Renata professed her love, Marcellus sought his parents' blessing to marry. She accepted his desire to remain human for now, or perhaps indefinitely. Vampires, as Marcellus learned, were understanding like that. His father celebrated birthday after birthday. Every gray strand received its own festivity. The lines furrowing his father's face were marks of joy. Marcellus marked time through their annual treks to forests worldwide, ensuring he mastered his father's ability to communicate with the trees. It dawned on Marcellus that revealing all one's secrets was vital. When you exposed your soul to them, the trees would respond. Marcellus always felt out of place among both humans and vampires. Renata never seemed bothered. She promised to stay by his side to the world's very end. After conversing with his relatives, Marcellus decided to go to Forks. Their arrival at the airport was met by a rusty old pickup. It was a tight fit for all their luggage. Marcellus was never one to finalize clothing choices, while Renata staunchly held on to her beloved book collection, citing that Kindles just don't have that smell. "Honestly, it's amazing you got the go-ahead to come here," stated Charlie Swan as they cruised down the highway. With hair and mustache silvered with age, he matched Dad's description quite well. The tribe would be surprisingly okay, with the next generation turning into wolves again. No idea why. Kids today, always looking for their next escapade. "We might soon embark on our next big adventure," murmured Harry Swan from his seat up front. Contrary to Dad's tales, Harry, save for his vivid green eyes, didn't match up. Marcellus was itching to learn about magic from him, but Harry seemed distant, not quite present. Leaning over, Charlie assisted Harry out of his seatbelt. The house was snug, though the kitchen spoke of days past. New counters and stove were mismatched against the cabinets, harboring peeling blue paint. Marcellus scraped a fingernail over the cabinet wood, revealing layers of paint below. Blue like a crisp sky, like an ocean above sands, like a glacier melting into the deep. The guest room could barely contain their things. Bags had to be strategically piled on the bed to avoid spillage. Hard to believe someone powerful and stately like Bella Swan once resided here. At night, the house emitted groans and creaks against the wind, reminiscent of tales where houses met their doom against a wolf's huff. "Magic resides here," Harry said, guiding Marcellus to the rugged oak in the backyard. "She speaks if you allow her." Expecto Patronum. A silver-hued badger ambled around them, loyal and friendly. The marks across its face accentuated an almost mustache-like appearance. "My father taught me tree lore," Marcellus spoke, observing Harry's detached eyes. "I recall how he cherished you, holding you like a precious dream. Marcus didn't send you here for the tree's sake." "I came here on my own," Marcellus insisted, watching Harry as he caressed blossoms that seemed to lean into his touch. "Think of your happiest memory when you use it," Harry instructed, handing him a stick. "The incantation is Expecto Patronum." This would felt unlike any other Marcellus had encountered. Repeating the words, tendrils of silver emerged, causing laughter and filling his heart with joy. "Expecto Patronum, Expecto Patronum," he chanted repeatedly, tears of happiness gathering in his eyes. When he finished, he found himself alone. Darkness set in, Dad always said twilight held the day's magic. As the fog curled through trees, Marcellus wondered if the warmth and sunshine of trees held more allure. "You're new here," a young voice declared. Turning, Marcellus noticed a little girl on the porch, golden locks cascading to her elbows. "Marcellus Volturi," he introduced himself. "My wife Renata and I are guests of the Swans for now." With a solemnity only a child might carry, she nodded. "I'm Luna, like the moon in Spanish. Uncle Charlie sent me to call you to dinner." Inside, a large man played with a toddler in the living area, while the girl's mother, a breathtaking woman, was in the kitchen. It was fortunate that Edward wasn't there to relay tales to Renata. Throughout dinner, Marcellus noticed Harry Swan absent-mindedly pushing food around or gazing out the window. Charlie conversed with Harry in a way that spoke of familiarity and understanding. Among vampires, Marcellus hadn't encountered such bonds. Over a year, Marcellus mastered conjuring a silvery bulldog with Expecto Patronum. He discovered spells like Wingardium Leviosa, Muffliato, and Tarantaligra. During teaching moments, Harry seemed most lucid, but would often lose himself, climbing trees barefoot, avoiding eye contact, and speaking sparingly. In the nighttime, Harry spun tales of constellations, Andromeda nurturing a child, Sirius intending to take him home, fearful Lupin, and Draco perpetually descending. There was an incident where Harry had a fit, lights flickered, and windows shook as a plate shattered mid-wash. Despite Marcellus's alarm, Charlie assured him. "It's all fine." Charlie comforted him, catching the soap before it drifted. "Sometimes, life's trajectory surprises us, but that doesn't diminish its perfection." Gentle fingers wove through Harry's hair as he began to hum a soothing lullaby. "I see the moon, and the moon watches me, beneath the branches of the ancient oak tree. May the radiance that illuminates my path also glow warmly upon the heart of my beloved."
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this chapter, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated with more audiobooks. Happy listening!